Hey y'all, happy Sunday. You know what? I just realized that this is the last live of the year. This is the last live of the year, guys. Can you believe it? The new year is fast approaching. Oh my goodness. Are you guys ready for it? I'm so ready for 2025. 2024 has been awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I am definitely ready for 2025. So, happy Sunday. Hello. I am not tired today. You want to know why? Because I ended my shifts that I was doing for the online notary platform I was working on because I realized in doing the shifts, it was taken away from me being able to service my own clientele. And so, because I make more serving my own clientele versus being on shifts and blocking out time to do that with the online notary platform, I had to stop it. I'm still going to help them, but I'm going to be on a backup. So, like on an as needed basis. That way, I don't have to block out time in my schedule to sit and monitor their calls for the amount of hours that they wanted me to do per week. So I'm well rested. I tidied my home today. I cooked dinner. So yeah, I feel really good. I feel really good today, guys. How are you guys feeling? How was your Christmas? I'm sorry that I missed you last Sunday. I forgot that I had family coming into town and that I was scheduled to be online with you guys. And so I was like, "Ew." So I hope that I saw many of you did see the message, but some of you didn't. So I do apologize. It was like a last minute thing. What is that? A last minute thing for me to do it. Hi, Michael. Happy holidays. I hope your Christmas was amazing if you celebrate anyway. And yeah. So the topic of discussion today, I think, is a really good one to end the new year on because it gets talked about so much. It's ridiculous. It's like, why? Why? But anywho, for those of you who, good, Michael, I'm happy to hear that. For those of you who are viewing me for the first time, my name is Bergeau, also known as Elise. I am the owner of Elise Notary Services as well as the Academy, the Notary Education Group. Every Sunday, I come live 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about notary and business related tips and topics and answer your questions in real time. All right. So today's topic of discussion is the real reason behind lowball notary fees and how to overcome them. All right. So let me pull up my talking topic so I can stay on topic because you guys know once I start to get talking, I can get a little left field and then I don't cover everything I want to talk about. So let me pull up my talking topics in or points. I think it's what I call it. Yeah, talking points. Okay. So the true cause of lowball fees. All right. The fees are not low because other notaries are taking the low fees. The fees are low because notaries are making mistakes. You have too many notaries who are trying to skip past improving their skill set on notarizing documents and they're just trying to jump into making the money. And what's happening is companies are taking a big risk on working with notaries and giving you the higher fee is not advantageous for them. So, and I know you're like, well, what does that mean? So, what that means is, let's say I need a notary in your area and you pop up, okay? Now, I look at my preferred notaries first because the preferred notary is who I want to work with because I know that they're going to get the job done and it's going to be hassle free and little to no mistakes. My preferred notary is not available. So now I'm having to look for any other notary. I come across you, I've never worked with you before. I'm charging $65 for a seller package. Okay, I see it's about 5 miles from you, and you click that you are available. So I go ahead and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you the order. But you counter and say that you want $150 for a seller package. Now, I've never worked with you before. I don't really see a lot of reviews for you, but I'm willing to give you a chance. I don't want to pay 150 because if I pay you 150 and you mess up the signing and I have to send out another notary to fix your mistake, I'm going to have to pay them too. So 60, $65 is what I'm willing to lose if you are not able to fulfill the job without errors. Okay. Now, what does errors equal to these companies? Delays. What do delays equal to these companies? Delay in them getting paid. Okay. If they can't get the job done, what? Hold on, guys. If I can't get the job done right the first time, that's going to piss everybody off. All right. And sorry for my language. So the reason why they're paying the lower fees is because it's a lower risk for them if for some reason you don't get it done right. Now, let's just say though, I've hired you, you've decided to do the job for $65 and you do a good job. The next time I have a signing in the area and I send it in a mass text and I'm offering 65 and you counter and say you want 90, I'm probably going to give it to you. You want to know why? Because I worked with you before and I know that you are capable of getting the job done. So this is why we have the lowball fees. Not because notaries are taking it, but because it's too much of a risk for us to hire notaries that we've never worked with before and pay you top dollar. Because if you fudge up the paperwork and you're not willing to own up to it and go and fix it, now I got to pay X amount of dollars for somebody else to go and fix it. Now I'm losing money because I'm probably offering the company 250 to do the signing, maybe. So I'm willing to go up to 150 for the signing to pay the notary, but I got to know that the notary knows what they're doing. Does that make sense to you guys? If you're a business, okay, I'm not speaking from a notary perspective, I'm speaking from a business perspective. How much money are you willing to lose if for some reason the notary that you're hiring doesn't do the job right the first time? Okay, all the time I get the higher fee all the time. Okay. And not only that, there are some signings where I don't need $150 for it. Okay. I take $40 signings all the time, especially online. It's 2 pages, one stamp, one signer. That will typically be $25. And they're willing to pay me 40 for it. So I'll do it. I don't care. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, all the money adds up. Okay. Let's just say I did 4 signings for the day and I've already made $400 and I wanted to make 450 for the day. I get a signing that come through and it's $50. I'm taking it. That's my goal for the day, 450. I'll also explain another scenario to you guys. The other day, I was offered a signing 5 times and it wasn't directly offered to me. It was sent out in a mass email and text. So when it first came out, I think they wanted to pay $60, I think. Yeah, I think it was a $60 signing. And so I messaged them. I said, hey, I can do it, but I'm not available for the time that you want. I'm available for this time. And because the place is so far from me, I would do it for this amount. And so they sent out the text again, okay, because they probably didn't want to do that and they probably were strict on the time. So I responded again, I can do it 30 minutes later for this amount. Each time they sent the text out, the money went up. So it got up to $100, which is what I asked for anyway. And I told them I can do it, but I can't do it at that time. I could do it like 30 minutes later, you know. And I didn't counter the fee because that's what I wanted 100 anyway. So they sent the text out again. And so they finally called me and said, hey, we're going to reach out to title and see if the 30-minute difference is okay because we don't know, it's kind of late. And, we want to give it to you. We just want to make sure that that 30 minutes won't be a problem. And so I said, okay. I never heard back from them that day. But I said to my husband, I said, watch they call me tomorrow and say, are you still available? We want to give you the signing. Right. So the next day, I wanted to sleep in. So I put my phone on do not disturb, and I put it on vibrate so that the notifications, because my email notifications start going off at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it always wakes me up. So I put my phone on vibrate. I missed their text message asking me was I still available. And I ended up responding like 30 minutes later. So I'm like, oh my God. So I messaged them and I say, yes, I am still available. And they said, okay, we're going to assign it to you. The title company said that for you to call the signer to let them know that you won't be there at 11, you'll be there at 11:30. So I'm like, all right, cool. So they assigned me the signing. I thought that I was going to get the signing for $100. I ended up getting the signing for $150. The reason I ended up getting the signing for that is because I've done closings for them, several closings, okay? And I was the only person to respond. And although I agreed to the $100, they knew that I would be willing to fulfill the job with no issues, no errors for the price point that they gave me. So this is what I'm saying to you guys. So in 2025, okay, I don't want to hear y'all talking about lowball fees. What I want to hear is that you're taking the jobs and you're proving yourself so that when you get offered a job from the same company, you're able to negotiate. Okay. You cannot negotiate if they've never worked with you before. They don't even know how you work. Okay. So work with the company, build a relationship so that when they offer a fee to the masses and you respond, they're like, oh, I know who that is. We're going to offer them more. And that's what happens all the time. You get offered more money. You can counter the fee, but you don't have any. And I've talked to you guys about this before. You don't have any grounds to negotiate on anything when you have not worked with the company before. They're already taking a risk on you. Just because you say you're a notary and you list on all these platforms doesn't mean nothing to them if they've never worked with you before. All right. Now, um, I'm in a couple of Facebook groups, okay? I don't always, comment in them or post in them because it's just, I'm in the groups just to hear, what's going on in the industry because a lot of the notaries who are in higher levels, in their career as a notary, they have information that they share with us that you don't normally get if you're not in their group. So this is why I'm in their group. So I saw a post from a signing service that I work for, and they had a notary that they were working with, and they had assigned the notary a few signings, and every signing that the notary got, they were making mistakes. So the signing service, they also have um, a company that does training for notaries, just like I do. And so they offered to this notary at a discount, a good discount too, to take the training. Like, take the training. We're not going to give you any signings for a little bit. We're going to give you a little break because one of their clients, which is a title company, ended up contacting them and telling them that they do not want them to assign that notary to any more of their closings. And that's kind of a big deal. This is why I'm very scared to do a signing service because I could, but I'm scared to do it because I don't want to lose clients because of notaries not doing what they're supposed to be doing or not doing, what they're trained to do, right? So the title company put this notary on a block. Like, don't hire them for no more of our closings, right? And so the notary was supposed to take advantage of the training, which the notary did. But the notary didn't complete the training. The notary just watched a couple of videos and I think did just a couple of things, but they never even got to like the middle of it. And so this notary reached out to the signing service after the period of time that they were on a break and said, "Can you please assign me some more signings?" And so the signing service was like, "Okay, we'll go ahead and give you another chance." Gave the notary another chance, and the notary messed up again. And this was a small error that could have easily been fixed. But the notary, so what happened was it was one of those letters. So in some of the closings, especially those who are doing refinances or home equity line of credit, they're doing that so they can get, a lower interest rate or get money back so they can pay off debt, right? And so you'll have these letters that are addressed to the debtors, and it will be signed the signer's name, right? So if the signer's name is printed on the letter and the letter is going to the debtor, the notary's job is to have the signer sign above their printed name. There's not going to be a signature line there because it's a letter. So what the notary said was, well, I didn't know that we're supposed to have signers sign where there isn't any signature lines, which is a valid point, but this does happen a lot. And this particular um, situation is listed in the training. Had the notary at least got to the halfway point, the notary would have learned in the training that this sometimes does happen when you do closings. So the signing service brought to the notary's attention that, you missed this. The notary said, I didn't know we were supposed to have the signer sign where there isn't any signature line. And the notary said, I don't think I want to work with you guys anymore. And so the signing service said, okay, that's fine. And now the notary is on a block list with that signing service. Okay. So not only does that affect the notary getting more jobs, but it also can affect the notary's reputation because bad news travels fast. And signing service owners talk to each other. So if this notary's name is to come about and they are asking, what do you think about this notary? I want to do this. They may say, I worked with this notary before. They are not a good notary to work with. Then there you go. So I share the story to say if you guys want to get work and you want to get the fees that you desire, you need to make sure that you keep your skill set up. Okay, even for those notaries who are like doing this part time, right? Let's say you're working a day job, which most of notaries are. They're working a day job, and notary is just their little side hustle, right? But in between you not getting signings, you need to always just refresh your skills, okay? Because if at any point you decide you do want to take a signing when you have some time, and it's been a period in between the last time you did a signing, refresh your skills, okay? Because you don't want to be put on the block list to get work, not unless you're trying to go direct, but even still, in that industry, everybody talks to each other. They meet up, they go to, events, and if your name comes about, you just don't want to do that to yourself. All right? Your behavior influences clients assigning services and how they are going to pay. All right. So unfortunately, you have so many notaries. All right. You hear them saying that notary is saturated, it's overly saturated. It is overly saturated with notaries who don't know what they're doing. Okay. There is not enough notaries that do know what they're doing. And so this makes it easy actually for you to get a job and for you to get referred to other people who are looking for notaries because it's so hard to find good notaries. And what I mean by that is not only knowing what you're doing, but being easy to work with. You have some people, they're just not a people person. They're not a people person. And they're hard to work with because of that. And I don't understand for the life of me why you would get into this profession and not be a people person. Like, if you can't work with people, you don't like talking to people, you don't like people, pointing out when you've messed up and could you fix this, you probably don't want to be in this job because I can tell you, I make mistakes and I've been doing this for 4 years. I do make mistakes and I have no problem with fixing them, within reason. I'm not going to do anything that's against the law. Okay. But I've never had anyone tell me to do something against the law. Okay. So if I missed a signature, if I missed an initial, if I missed a stamp, which has happened a couple of times, I don't usually miss a stamp. I will miss an initial or a signature or a date though, easily, you know, especially on those VA forms. VA forms, I get so nervous when I get VA transactions because they're documents. It is not always obvious where they want them to sign an initial. You really have to just be familiar with doing it, which I do. I have done a lot just in the past 90 days doing the VAs. So I've been paying attention to it. But I tell you, I'm like, why don't they make it easier? Shouldn't they? Oh, good, Michael. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Enroll in my university because, or my academy, what I call it, because you need to know what you're doing so that when you get called by these signing services or directly, you do a good job and they put you on their preferred, just like that. If they know that they've worked with you and you did a good job, or even if you made a mistake, just the fact that they could call and tell you to fix it and you fix it with no problem, you're preferred automatically. So yes, absolutely. Good for you. But you guys, you don't want your reputation to be smashed. You got to get out here and you want to do good work. You want to be a people person. You want to be a good person to work with. I've had customers tell me they've worked with notaries who didn't even talk during the appointment. You know how you just engage in small talk? They've had notaries who don't do that. They're just focused on the documents only. They don't want to talk. They're not smiling. And that's not really grounds for a great review either. You want to be somebody who is easy to talk to, um, somebody that they feel comfortable with, because they're signing documents that are very that are very much important in their life. This is going to change their life in some way. And having a person just come and just be dry and short with them, it really makes them feel even more uncomfortable. I've had customers tell me, after I've gone and signed with them, that they were so anxious and they were so nervous, but when I came, I eased them. I put them at ease. I made them feel comfortable and they were no longer nervous. You know, you want to be that person. You want to give off good vibes. Is that what the young people are saying? Give off the good vibes for people because you just don't know what the reasons are. I've had closings where people were very excited. They're buying a new home or they're selling a home they've been trying to sell forever. I've also done transactions where a person had to sell their home and it was very emotional. It was very somber. It was, oh my God. Um, you just don't know the impact that you can have on a person just from showing up and just giving off that good energy. You don't even you ever been around a person and they didn't have to say it, but you just automatically just felt at ease with them and you just felt calm? I'm that type of person. And you want to be that type of person for your signers. It doesn't always have to be uptight and serious. You want to put them at ease. And when you put them at ease, trust me, it makes the signing so much more smooth. Okay? You get very little questions about the paperwork and they don't want to read everything just because you made them feel comfortable and at ease during the whole process. And you want to take charge. Your appearance matters. Okay? You don't want to show up and look unkept, okay? If that's the correct term for that. You want to show up as a professional. You want to hold your head high. You want to look people in their face when you talk to them. You want to smile. You want to answer with affirmative answers. You don't want to say, mm-hmm, uh-huh, oh, no, yes, no, okay, sure. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we're going to do in 2025. Okay, we're going to make a better person so that we can be a better notary. All right. For those of you who need a refreshers, it's free on my Academy website. You know, my big thing is I make very little money for my Academy, guys. Very little money. I make a whole lot of money with my notary business, but I make very little money with my Academy. You want to know why? Because I'm not in the business to make money from y'all. Now, there are some courses that I do charge for because, it took me some time to put that stuff together. And, you know, I can't make everything free. I am paying for the platform that these courses are offered on. All right, you guys aren't paying that. I'm paying that. So some courses are for a fee, but there are very few. Most of my courses are free. Okay. Hi, Terry. Oh my goodness. Merry Christmas. Oh my goodness. I've missed you as well. I did have a very good Christmas. I have family in town. So that is awesome. And I just feel so happy, just very happy. So I am so happy that you're joining us today. So yes, guys, visit my academy. Okay. If you don't know the website, here it is. You got the free courses. And there it is, thenotary.educationgrp.com. All right, www.thenotary.educationgrp.com. Go on there, get your refreshers, take it as many times as you need to. There is no expiration date on access to the courses. It is for you because I want you guys to go out there and I want you to crush it. Okay. And not in a bad way, in a good way. All right. I want you guys to be good notaries. I want you to be on the preferred notary list for these companies who are looking for you. I used to have a directory, but that was costly and I had to let it go, but I'm always trying to help you guys to be successful because I think that we just don't have it enough. We have too many people out here who are taking advantage of you. They really do. And I remember starting out, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I worked, so of course I could put money aside from work after I paid bills and took care of my house. But starting out as a notary, we don't have a whole lot of money. So coming out of $500-600 for a course, that's a bit much. Okay, so this is why I try my best to make sure that I give you guys free education, free knowledge. And hi, Reggie. And I also try to, if I do have to charge for a course, I try to make it very reasonable. I think the most expensive course I have is $99. And that's my general notary, and it covers everything general, there. So that is the highest cost of a course on my website. And I think I may have maybe 4 or 5 courses that cost. All the rest of them don't. And I have quite a bit of courses on there. So yeah, you guys go ahead and check it out. Reggie's being goofy. Everybody ain't able. That's his saying, coined by him. What's another one? Oh, notaries overpricing. Okay, that's another reason why these companies don't want to pay us. Okay, I saw in another group a notary was offered an online signing. One signer, one signature, one stamp. Now, in Florida, that's a $25 job. Okay, and if you want to, oh, exactly, Terry. Exactly. We don't have the cash to come out of paying, $500 here, $500 there. We're still trying to, and not only that, you haven't even got the clientele yet. You haven't got the clientele, and they want you to pay 500, 600, $700 sometimes for a course. And you haven't even made the money yet. It's like, oh my God. Now, some of them do have a payment plan, which, I guess that does help. but you have too many people, and I'm not talking about the big hitters because I've taken Notary to Pro, I've taken loan signing system. The amount of money that I paid for the information that I gained and learned was worth it. But I had to work my way up to it. It wasn't something that I just could come up off of. I like that notaries. I'm sorry, Notaries to Pro. They didn't have a payment plan when I took the course. I don't know if they do now. Loan signing system. They do have a payment plan, and I had to take advantage of the payment plan because I didn't have the full amount to come off of, and that was for the cheapest. I paid for the cheapest package, and I got the information that I needed. And yeah, so yeah, absolutely. People don't have the cash. So, I feel like I for me, I feel like the more that I, can give, the more I can get, and it doesn't have to be monetary. I get referrals all the time. I get mentioned in places where I'm not present, and I think that means a lot. That means a lot to me. And so this is why I don't mind doing it the way that I'm doing it. And whenever I do get tired of it, I'll tell y'all, like, no, I'm tired. I'm tired. But, for right now, I'm cool. I'm cool. Oh, yeah. So back to that online. So in Florida, we could charge $25 per stamp for doing online notary. And for some of us, we'll charge the $25 and then we'll charge the platform fee. And the platform fee can be anywhere between $5 and $15. So if you charge $25 for the stamp and the platform fee is 15, so that's $40. So that even would have been reasonable. This notary, the service reached out to this notary. This notary said that they would do it for $100. $100. One stamp, one signature, one signer. And so guess what happened to that notary? They're on the block list. I don't understand why. Well, yes, I do. A lot of you guys are in these groups and you're listening to the notaries who are not getting the work and you're following what they say. You guys need to be following the notaries who are making the money. Those of us, and this is includes me because I'm making the money. I have the clientele. We're the ones you guys want to listen to. Okay, you don't want to listen to these people in the notary groups who are complaining because I'm trying to, and I say this all the time. None of the notaries who are making money in this business are complaining. Now, you want to know who they are complaining about, though? They're complaining about notaries who are overpricing themselves and they're not doing a good job. They're not doing a good job. You have too many notaries who are trying to, take breaks and move up, and they don't care about learning, what they need to learn. They just want to make the money. And I'm telling you, you're not going to make the money overpricing for your services and trying to take shortcuts. You're not going to make any money that way. Now, let's just say she was willing to pay the $100 to this notary for one signer, one signature, one stamp, simply because she couldn't find anyone else and they needed to get this done. How much you want to bet that they would have never called you again? That's not the type of clientele you want. That is not how you're going to build your clientele. Okay? There's nothing wrong with offering reasonable rates for your services. Okay? Now, I would have charged, maybe 25, maybe $40. And they would have used me again and again and again. So I would have made well over $100 from this one service because they would have continued to use me over and over and over again. I have signing services that I work for who have companies. So, okay, I have signing services who have clients who continue to request me for their signings. Can you see if Bergeau is available? They're not my customer. They're the signing service client, but they want to work with me because they like how I do my work. And their customers always give a good review on their experience with me. I've had um, companies who they'll work with me. I'm hired through the signing service to work with them. And they'll ask me, can I get your number? Because I do closings all the time and I want to work with you. And you know what I'll tell them? I tell them, well, actually, all you have to do is request me from the signing service because the signing service hired me and you're their customer. And so because I have a relationship with them, I wouldn't feel comfortable with you calling me directly. But here's the signing service number. Call them. And the next time you have a closing, let them know that you want to work with me and they will assign me to you. And that's what happens all the time because it's about relationships. I'm not going to bite the hand that feeds me. This one particular signing service is the reason why I've made almost 70,000 this year. So, no, you contact them and you request me through them and they will assign me to you and then we can work that way. I'm not taking nobody customers, okay? Because that signing service has been amazing to me. And I feel like that for any signing service. Um, I have other signing services that I work for, and I would do the same thing. I'm not taking nobody's clients. You know how hard it is for them to get out there, hit that pavement, go and speak to these companies and make those relationships? And then they trust me to service their customer and I take it from them? That's bad business. I would never do that. Let me see what Terry said here. It's crazy that folks I listen to seem to start all kinds of stuff. Yes, yes, Terry. All kinds of certification courses, and half of the things that can be found on YouTube University from reputable notaries as yourself. And that's what they do. They just listen to a bunch of our videos and then they use it to put together their own stuff. When there's nothing wrong with you putting together a course, okay? But for me, I like to put my courses together based on my personal experience. I feel like notaries who are doing notary work are the ones that should be teaching people how it's done. I don't like when I see notaries who are not doing the work offering all these type of courses. I'm like, you're not even doing the work. Like that's how are you teaching? Because because I do the work every day, I have experience to share, from all of my different, appointments because I mean I've seen a lot and I hear a lot and sometimes it'll be so much to the point where I'm like I should put a course together with just this information right here, and I didn't have to go online to get it. I just get it from my experience, and I feel like if you're going to put together something, it should be based off of your own personal experience because there is no way that you can prepare a notary for everything that we're going to see. There's no way. But when notaries like myself share our experience, it helps you guys to be better prepared because you may not have come across that and now you know how to handle it when you do. So I totally agree with you on that. 100%. I had someone reach out to me about my signing agent course and I told them they asked me what makes your signing agent course different from the ones that I see for hundreds of dollars? I said, well, my signing agent course is based off of my experience as a signing agent. I'm a full time notary signing agent, and that is how I set my course up. So I don't talk down about anybody's courses. All I say is what makes mine different is based on my experience. So if you feel like you can learn from me, if you like my teaching style, then take my course. If not, there are other courses out there. You have the loan signing system, Notary to Pro, Notary to Notary, Signing Agent Basics, Notary Blueprint, I think is what it's called. I've seen him around, but I don't want to get his business name wrong. I think it's Notary Blueprint, I think. And then let's not forget National Notary Association. They have a signing agent course. A lot of people don't. recommend it though, because they say that it's not as thorough as the other ones that I named off to you. All right. But it's available. All right. So you have options. If I am one of those options, I am more than happy to have you take mine. But if I am not, you can go with any of the ones that I named off because they are all good. I've personally taken Notary to Pro and Loan Signing System, and they're awesome. I took them, paid for it, got the certification, and I um, owe my success to them because their course is really good. All right, let's see. Exactly. All right, so stress the importance of having a skill set that substantiates higher fees, guys. The more you know, the more money you can get paid. Okay? People, I'm not going to say people, signing services and title companies, they like to assign out an order to you and you get it done with the least amount of issues. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't call if you have questions. Please call when you have questions. They appreciate you calling because they know that you are as much invested in making sure this process goes smoothly as they are. Okay, so everybody's working together. Everybody wants this to get done right the first time. So call and ask the questions. I had a title company, and this happens a lot. They're always, rushing because if they have more than one transaction they're trying to get done, they're rushing trying to get this paperwork from the lender and so forth, right? So if there's a lender involved, anyway. But so I got documents, and I ended up calling them like 3 times. We had names spelled wrong. I needed to know if they wanted witnesses or not. Um, the numbers weren't matching. The signer called me and said the numbers didn't look right, and this was missing, that was missing. So I had to keep calling them. And on my third call, they said, we appreciate you calling. I said, I'm so sorry I keep calling. They said, no, we appreciate it because we know that you're thorough. You're looking through the documents. You're not waiting till you're at the signing table. And I was like, well, yeah, when I get a time, because sometimes I don't. Sometimes they'll give me documents right when I get to the signer's house. And the reason why I'll leave my house to go to the signer's house without documents is because I have a printer set up in my trunk. If I did not have a printer set up in my trunk, obviously I wouldn't do that. But if I get documents in advance, I do like to go through them. I like to go through them and see if there's any differences in the names. Hi, Reggie. To see if there's any differences in the names because sometimes they'll have the names differently spelled all over the place. If they have a signature name affidavit in there, I'm like, okay, that covers it, so it's not that big of an issue. But if they don't, then I need to ask. I see that you guys have their names printed differently on all the documents, but I'm not seeing a signature name affidavit. And sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, you're right. Let me get that to you right now. You know, the more work you do, the more you can recognize when something is missing. Okay? Because this is not something that um, you're supposed to learn, you know, if you are doing any of the signing agent courses. But this is something that you will learn from experience. It is their job to make sure that document is in there. It just so happened that I do signings enough to know that this probably should be in there because I'm seeing the different name variations on the documents. And this is when they were like, oh my God, you're right. We forgot that. We're going to send it to you right away. Right? Or if I'm doing a sale and I notice there's a deed missing, usually when a person is selling a property, they have the deed that they have to sign over to the buyers, right? Signing the property over. So I'll notice that. And these are things that you, like I said, you will notice when you're doing the signings. And this is why I get paid the money because I can go through the documents and I can recognize these things. And no, I'm not saying that you need to know this off the top. But what I'm saying is the more work you accept at various fees, the more experience you're going to get. And the more you know, the higher they will pay for your expertise. Okay? You can't just say, I'm National Notary um, certified. I'm loan signing system certified. They don't know nothing about that. The only people who care about that are the signing services. The title companies, they don't know nothing about those things. Okay. You having all of those certifications that you get from the notary courses or whatever, that only looks good to other notaries and signing services. Okay. You can call a title company, you tell them that you have all of these things. They don't know what the hell you're talking about, and they really don't care. They just want to know if you know how to handle those type of documents. How many have you done? And some of them don't even care about that either. If you tell them, they're going to trust your word, and they'll see if you're telling the truth by what the documents look like when you give them back to them. Okay, so just so we're clear on that. Yes, getting all of those certifications look good to other notaries and signing services, but what you really want to focus on is just getting the skills. Get your skill set up for 2025 because we want to make the money. And 2025 is supposed to be another 2020, which is a boom for all of us notaries. In 2020, the notaries made the money. So 2025 is supposed to be that year for us. So I want you guys to get prepared. If you are on a break and you have the chance, go on my academy, take all those free courses. Okay. Most of them I try to record me talking on them. So you don't even have to look at the screen if you don't want to. You can click and listen, click and listen. Some of them I didn't have the chance to. It was just too much. I get parched. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Y'all going to have to read it. But some of them are, audio. So you can listen to it. Get your skill set up so you can make more money in 2025 because this is going to be the year, y'all. It's going to be the year. And those of us who got the clientele during the slow period, we're going to be booming in 2025. I don't know if y'all saw my picture. Let me see if I can move my camera. Oh, I put my supplies up. So in my corner of my room here, I had a whole bunch of supplies I just had to buy. Okay, make sure y'all got y'all supplies because let me let me tell you guys what happened to me last week. I ran out of toner. I ran out of toner, and I had two closings that I was going to have back to back that I need to print papers for. Or did I have three? I had three closings, but the first one, my toner lasted for that first set. The other two signings that I had, I ran out of toner. I have one, two, three. I have four printers. Two of my printers ran out of toner. And I knew they were low. And I told myself when I moved, because you guys know I just moved in August, I said when I move, I'm going to buy new toner. And I freaking forgot. And I ran out of toner. And I had two closings I had to print documents for. I was like, oh my God. So this printer is my color laser printer. Now, I don't recommend you ever buying a color laser printer for notary work, but I used to have a travel agency and I used to print out things for that business. Especially when I had groups for cruises, I would print out their cruise luggage tags and they are colors. So that's why I bought that printer. So I still have it. I end up having to use that printer and my printer in my trunk to print out documents. And I had to go on notaryrotary.com to use their page sorter so that I could print letter and legal because the packages were mixed page sizes. When I tell y'all that was such a headache, because ever since I've purchased my dual tray printer, I haven't had to use the notary page sorter, but I ran out of toner and I ended up having to do it. It was such a headache because well, no, one of the packages was a seller, so that was okay. It was just 22 pages. But the other one was 116 pages, and I think that was a buyer. Ugh, I was like, oh my God. So I had a corner full of supplies. I bought letter and legal paper, letter size and legal size paper, and I bought toner for this printer that's next to me that you can't see, and my dual tray. And yeah, so with the new year coming in, make sure that you guys are taking advantage of getting all the supplies you need because you don't want to run out of anything when you start getting calls for notary signings. Okay, so let's keep going. Also, I don't want you guys to get hung up on these notary fees. I don't. I want you to build your clientele, get the experience so that you are able to just negotiate. Okay? It's very easy for you to do. They'll have it on there, like, accept, reject, negotiate, or leave a message. You could type in, I can do it for XYZ. And then even if it's not a fee that you're trying to negotiate, let's say you're trying to negotiate for a different time because you have a signing that's close to the time they want, you can negotiate the time as well. You can say, I can do it at this time. Okay. They'll either take your request or not. And it's not a big deal if they don't. It just means that another notary may be closer to that location and they have accepted to do it on the terms that they um, made already. But I want you guys to, I'll explain to you guys another, or not explain, share. There was another story that I saw. A notary who took loan signing system. She made six figures just from working with signing services. Okay, so I don't want you guys to think the only way that you can make the big bucks is by going direct. Okay, because a lot of the companies who are going with the signing services, they're doing that because they need nationwide access, and you won't be able to give that to them. You will only be able to give them local access. Okay, so if they need a notary in your area, they can call you, but let's just say their customers are vacationing somewhere else. You're not going to be able to help them find a notary in another state, right? They have to go to the signing service for that. Okay, so don't knock the signing services. Now, what I will say is be careful with the signing services that you work with because some of them don't pay. And this is why I kind of have stuck with working with the ones I work with because I've worked with them before. These new signing services out here scare me. But in any event, the story, let's get back to the story. The notary, they were interviewing her at one of the LSS conferences, and she is a six-figure notary who only worked with signing services. And he asked her, how is it that you were able to make six figures by only working with signing services? And you know what she said? She said, I don't turn down no work. She said, I take every signing they offer me at the fees that nobody else wants to take. And she said, the reason being is because all of it adds up. And she's right. All of the money adds up. Now I would never tell you to take anything that is unreasonable. Like, I don't want you to drive 2 hours for $40. Okay. Obviously, you're not going to do that. But there's nothing wrong with taking a $40 signing. There is something wrong with you saying, I'm not taking no signing unless it's $200. Okay. I can honestly tell you, I've taken I've taken way more signings for less than $200 than I have for $200. Okay? I've taken a lot for 40, I've taken a lot for 60, I've done 75, I've done 90, I've done 100, I've done 150, I've done 200, I've done 250. But if I sat around to wait for the signings for at the $200 price point, I would not be able to do this full time. I wouldn't. All of the money adds up. So in the new year, what we doing? We taking all the work. We're not turning down no work, right? We're taking all the work within reason, okay? Because all of it adds up. You could be the next notary to make six figures if you have the time. Granted, she's a full-time notary, so she has the time to do it. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about these lowball fees they keep hollering at us about? I'm like, y'all so worried about notaries taking the lower fees, saying that's the reason. Well, that's not the reason at all. The reason we have lowball fees is because you have too many notaries out here who taking shortcuts and they messing up documents. And you know what the saying is. We all had it back in the day when we were in grade school. One student messed it up for everybody. Remember that? You had one student, everybody stop talking. If you guys can't stop talking, we're not going to recess. You have that one dumb kid that just gonna keep talking. Now all of us lost recess. That's what happened with the notaries. You have one notary make a mistake, and now don't nobody want to pay top dollar because they don't want to take the risk. They don't want to take the risk. That's what it is. Okay. So you're not getting low fees because all the notaries out here taking low fees. You're getting the low fees because all the notaries out here messing up. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that is my time. It's been about an hour. It's 9:24. Do you guys have any questions for me? This is our last live for the year. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight and making my last live awesome. I was in a great mood, so I just knew it was going to be awesome. Um, Next Sunday is going to be what? January 5th, 2025. So I will see you guys then. Everybody have a wonderful week. Everybody have a happy new year. And I'll see you guys in the new year. Good night.